Hey, hello, and welcome to Sketch Together. My name is Pablo Stanley, and today we're going to start a new series. Hopefully, it becomes a series, and it's going to be illustrations, illustration challenge. The challenge is to make these illustrations using Sketch, and this is the first one, and it's going to be just a simple camera. Something. Let's just start baby steps, right? I already made a sketch of this camera. It's pretty simple, just a few shapes, and probably we can add some shading and some shadowing. Why this challenges? I see Sketch as a great tool for UI and UX design, but I don't see it as a great tool for illustration. So that's a challenge, right? Let's start. So the first thing, I'm going to create an artboard, obviously, and I'm going to actually make it 800 by 600, which is the Dribble default size. I'm going to put this guy over here just in case I need it. And I'm going to move it over here. And there you go. So the first thing, as you can see, we need a rectangle, then a couple of circles, another rectangle, and then another rectangle for this shape. Just a bunch of rectangles and circles. It's gonna be easy, guys. Okay, so first thing, the body. Real quick, just a rectangle, and with some rounded corners around there. Let's center it. Pretty good. I'm going to make it a little bit wider. And by the way, I did that by selecting the shape, and then pressing Command and the arrows. Pressing Command and the right arrow key makes it bigger to the just like wider or shorter, or narrower. And if I press up and down, it makes it taller or shorter. Just for you to know. And also Command Shift, it will make it big steps instead of just 1 pixel, which is 10 pixels if you have it by default. Okay, cool. So that was a quick tip right away. Okay, so let's make it a little bit shorter around there. Now let's add right away the lens. Let's start with the lens. Oops, I don't know what I have happened there. I'm going to change the colors just so we can see what the hell we're doing. Around there, I'm going to duplicate this circle. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and probably make it a little bit darker. There you go. It's starting to look like a camera already, right? Let's add another rectangle, which is going to be the little stripe the stripe that appears in the middle of the body. So I'm going to select these two and send them to the back. I'm going to make this a little bit darker. Right now, I'm not caring about color. I just want the shapes to be perfect. So I'm going to select these two and make them center. Everything should be center. So I'm going to select everything. And there you go. Everything is centered. Let's see. Everything is centered. Everything is good. Let's add the other shape, which is going to be the shutter. Sorry, the little button. Yeah, it is the shutter, right? And then the options thing that is over here. So this guy, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. There you go. And this one is going to be a little bit bigger. Is the thing that you use to click, 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 the different options, okay? So that's cool. And I'm going to add rounded corners to the left and to the top of this. So over here, there are two ways that you can do this. By pressing Enter, you just select the not the vectors that you want to add a corner radius. You just select them and then go over here and add a corner radius. That was one way to do it. Another way to do it is also by actually entering the numbers. So you select a shape like a rectangle, and then over here you enter here on the radius your numbers. So and you divide them with a semicolon. So it's 8 semicolon 8 semicolon 0 0, and the values are top left is the first value, top right is the second value, bottom right of your rectangle is the third value, and so on. Anyway, we have it. I want to keep this as a rectangle. We have our shapes. Let's something else that usually the Leicas have is just a little circle here, and usually they have it as just for the logo, as you can see. So let's add it over there. Let's add our little icon, and it's not going to have the logo of the Leica or any Leica. Is Leica? I'm saying it like as in Spanish, you would say Leica, but it might be Leica. I don't know. I like it. Oh God, I'm sorry. Okay, let's do the little flash. So a rectangle over here. We have our flash. Let's change it to a little bit lighter. There you go. We have all of our shapes. Let's see if all the spacing is right. Probably around there. This should be. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. That way it's 12 and 12. There you go. This guy should actually be. I'm going to duplicate it and make it a little bit smaller, and then that way, there you go. Okay, so we have the basics. We have the basics of, see, it's super easy, right? Once you are creating illustrations that are just like basic shapes, Sketch will do the job. It will be cool. Okay, so we have that. Something else that I'm missing is the face, which is two eyes and a little mouth. So I'm going to zoom in just to start drawing that. And la la la, around there, two big eyes, and let's make them really dark, just like black. There you go. And then, actually, you know what? I'm going to delete this guy, and I'm going to actually, you're going to see why, because I'm going to duplicate this eye. So I'm going to make the little, I don't know what you call them, the little reflections on the eyes, the little light reflections. So I have those two. I'm going to select these three, and now I'm going to right click and say mask. And now we have those reflections. That's not exactly what I wanted. Let's make them a little bit smaller. Okay, probably not that small. There you go, around 8 pixels. 8 pixels should be fine. And I'm going to put it around there, and I'm going to move this guy around there. It looks kind of weird, huh? Actually, yeah, I actually want to make it way smaller. There you go. 4 pixels. This one I'm going to make it 6 pixels. And we want to show almost all the circle. So it looks good. There you go. Looking better, right? Okay. So now this guy, we can actually make it a little bit bigger too. Oops, sorry, let's just scale it. Let's just scale it to, instead of 16, let's make it 24 and 20 pixels, just 4 more pixels. And we have our first eye. Now we can duplicate it. And now I'm going to add the mouth. And the mouth is just, I start with a circle too, just a big circle. And then it's a smiling. So what I want to do is use the scissors, and remove that. And now we have half circle and half a circle. You know what? I want to add like a little, I don't know, like a tongue inside the mouth. So I'm going to make this a little bit darker color around there. And I'm going to add 2 more circles that are going to represent the tongue. So around there and around there. There you go. Let's make it red, around this red. And you know what? I'm going to start adding colors. I'm going to reuse this red. So I'm actually going to create a share style. I don't know if I'm going to add it to my document colors, just to my document colors. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to arrange this, grab this, and then create a mask. There you go. Now we have our little. How happy does that camera look? That's pretty cool, right? Okay, so now let's just start adding the colors. So I want to use red, and now you know what? Let's make a blue camera, a really blue camera. Just everything with blues, different shades of blue. What do you think? Yeah, let's do it with different shades of blue. So we start with, or let's actually start making our color palette. So I'm going to create. Let's use one dark, one half, one light, and one really light. So let's just start with the really dark one. So actually, let's select all of these. The first thing that I'm going to do is select all of them and start with one base color. So I'm going to start with a color that is around there, pretty saturated, around there. That's going to be my darkest color, around there. That's pretty cool color. I like it. And now I'm going to start editing the rest of them. So this one, I actually want to make it really light, around there. That's going to be like my mid color. And then I want to add another one that is going to be way lighter than that. And just in case I need it, let's add another one that is way lighter. As you can see here, since I started with the same base color, they all have the same hue color. All I did was change the lightness and the saturation of the color, but they all are the same hue. And that way it's just like a monochromatic color palette. So I have all my colors. Now I'm going to add them to my document colors. So I have these colors. Let me add them over here. That way I can reuse them. Da, 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 da. So I'm going to combine these 4 colors plus white. Those are going to be my 5 colors actually. So let's just start with this one. This one, let's make the body a little bit lighter. Sometimes that happens. And this guy is going to be the mid color around there. And then this little guy is going to be the lightest color actually. So it's like a metal piece. And then this guy is going to be the darkest color of them. And then probably, what is going to be the actual eyes? Let's see what happens if I think this is gonna. Oh yeah, that looks really weird. Let's actually use the same color but a different shade. Just sorry, a little bit darker. There you go. And I'm going to add it to my document colors too. I'm going to put it all the way here, because we do need a darker color too, just for that. Okay, cool. This guy too. See, it's starting to take shape, right? You're starting to like it. There you go. Let's put this color there. This guy, I'm going to make it actually corner radius around there. And what else? These two guys, I'm going to make them the light color. Probably this guy is the medium color. And that's it. We have a starting point on our colors. This is starting to look good, I think. Now we can start adding gradients. So gradients and shadowing. That way it will create a little bit of depth on our shapes, so it doesn't look as flat. So the first thing that I can do is add a shadow. Oh, by the way, the light is going to be coming from above at 90 degrees, just straight from above. So all the shadows are going to be below. So using that same logic, then I can just take this guy and add another shadow. And this guy is going to be, this is going to be my shadow. And let's make it the Y, yeah, around there. And also my blending mode is going to be multiply. There you go. And probably the opacity should be 50%. And as you can see, I used a color. I used one of our colors on our document colors as the shadow and not black. That way it will create, it will keep the colors consistent. Okay, so I added that. I'm going to add an inner shadow for this guy. So inner shadow, and that way it will create like a little bit of depth, like a round depth. So let's see if that actually works. So I add an inner shadow and let's make it, this color, and let's do the blending as multiply, and let's make it, let's see, around there. That's going to be good. Let's make it really blurry. And let's see what happens if I go the other way around. I think, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it at 0. That way it will create that, I don't know, like depth of the, what do you guys think? Just 8. Yeah, 8 pixels. That way it creates that, like, I don't know, like it's rounded, right? And we have that. Now we want to add a little bit of gradients on the sides. So what I can do is I'm going to actually create one shape that is going to be on top of my other shapes of these two shapes. So there are 2 ways I can do it. I can do it with another gradient, and there's one that I can just like put a shape that has a gradient on top of both shapes. So I think I'm going to do that one, which sounds a little bit easier. So I'm going to paste this shape. So I just duplicated that one, and I'm going to apply a gradient to this. So the first thing that I want to do is instead of a solid color, I want to add a gradient, and I'm going to move it so it starts from the left and ends on the right, around there. So my starting color is going to be just black. We should have probably used the blue color, right? So let's see, what color is this? I'm just going to copy the hex code. I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to paste my hex code over here to both ends. Both ends should have the same hex code. The thing is that one of them, the opacity of it is 0. So there you go. And this guy, the opacity is going to be starting from probably 50. Let's see a 50. And then the blending mode is going to be, instead of normal, I'm going to change it to multiply, and let's see how it looks. This is starting to look good. Actually, I'm going to keep the blending, this guy, at 100%. And then here, I'm going to change it to 20%. There you go. It's looking good. I like it. It creates that depth around it. And now I can just duplicate this shape and put it all the way here. And just like, let's see if we flip it, it works. There you go. Now it's rounded and it feels like you can grab it, right? Okay, I like this. Let's add another shadow just for a little bit of depth to this guy. Ooh, something I'm realizing. This should be the color, the same color as this. So let me change the color of this to this guy. There you go. So it's the same color of the body. And this guy, I'm going to add an inner shadow. Inner shadow, right there. That way it has a little bit of bevel again, like before. And let's put this one, the blending mode is going to be multiply, and it's going to be 0, and it's going to be 8 pixels. That way it creates a little bit of a bevel again. And let's make it opacity 50%. There you go. So now we have that. We need to add probably a little bit of inner shadow to this guy here too. So it creates like it's bevel inside. So the inner shadow is going to be like that, and positive is going to be, instead of -1, it's going to be 2. And the color should probably be this color. And let's change it, the opacity to 50%. Should probably be this color actually. And yeah, what do you guys think? Should it be this color? No, it should be this color. What am I doing? Yes, that color. That's a color that should be. And 2 pixels is good. Just a little bit of depth, so it creates that it's something there, right? There's a little bit of this indent. Okay, so we have this. Now what I want to do is add another gradient to this. And for this one, I don't need to do the same trick as here. I can add another fill here, and this fill is going to be a gradient. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to edit this gradient so it's from left to right, around there. And since this is rounded, I want it to be all the way around, right? So, and I want to have shadows on the left and on the middle. I want it to be light. So what I need to do is, first of all, this guy should be black. This guy should also be black. It's already black. And then here in the middle, I'm going to put opacity 0. And then here on the sides, I'm going to keep it at 50%, but the overall, I'm going to change it to 20%. And that way it creates a little bit of, I don't know what you call it, like depth. And I'm going to save this to my document gradients. And that way I can just apply it to this guy too. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add another overlay, and I'm going to use the same one. And there you go. And I'm going to change the opacity to 20%. It's looking good. It's looking good. What do you guys think? Okay, so that's it. That's my challenge. And now, hold on. We can do better, right? Let's add a shadow to it. So, really cool effect to add a shadow. I'm just going to duplicate this guy, and we can just like use the normal shadow effect. Select the whole thing and apply to the group a shadow. Let's do it so you can see it. I just create a group with all of these shapes, and then I add a shadow if I wanted to. And I can make it really soft, and I can make it like that, and I can make it this color. And probably the opacity could be 20%. And there you go. We could probably be okay with this. Sometimes the shadow doesn't show up. Does this happen to you guys too? If I zoom in, the shadow will disappear. Anyway, that is one way to do it. Let's actually combine different shadows. Let's keep that shadow, and let's use another one that I really like. And for this one, I'm just going to create another shape, and I'm actually going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it. And this guy is going to be same color. Let's use a darker color. This guy, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, around there. And now that it's smaller, I actually want to apply a Gaussian blur to it. So here, I'm going to go to my effects. I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to make it really soft, really, really soft. And I'm going to pull it all the way to the back. And now if I were to remove the shadow from this guy, see how now the shadow is only here, and probably you can make it a little bit darker if you wanted to. Please let me know what you guys think. If you have suggestions for the next episode, what should I illustrate? Also leave it in the comments. And that's it. Thank you. I love you. Bye bye.